There we go. And I'm gonna bring Wendy in. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right here. Pin and add pin. Okay, everybody see us, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can get started. Whoever comes. It's gonna be recorded, so we can kind of do that. I just have Wendy and myself on the screen for now, and if you have questions, just kind of interject, and then at the end, we can all come together and do kind of do a group shot. But I thought it'd be easier to do it this way. All right, so welcome everyone to our third Lisa and Friends. I'm excited about this little series we have going. And tonight we have Wendy Kendrick, who, and I think I said in the intro, I don't remember how or where we met, Wendy, but we met. And I don't know if you remember.
I
Do you remember?
remember. Uh-huh. It was here,
Okay,
actually.
please.
You were vending. You were vending here.
Is that what it was?
Yes, you were.
Okay.
You had a little small area down in it was down in CCAD, Columbus College of Art and Design.
Oh, were we vending out of our
And
hotel rooms that time?
no, Debbie Jackson brought me over to your space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could not, I blocked it out. I knew I knew you and I felt like it was forever. So I just
That was
didn't.
the initial intro. Yeah,
Wow.
because I was so amazed. You had your books out and you
Mhm.
had some fabric, and I was looking at the fabric, but the books, I bought the books, still
Uh-huh.
have the books.
Oh,
And yeah, and that was the initial intro.
I could not remember, and I was racking my brain trying to think. But anyway, Wendy is a lovely, talented woman, and I love her work. I've loved her work from the first time I caught a glimpse of it. And we've worked together on some projects and done fun things. So I thought she'd be a great addition to our group and to our little series here. So Wendy, I want to let you take it away and describe your background, and we'll just kind of go in. I'll interject as I need to. And I think you have some
Okay.
slides. I don't know if your slides are, or if you need them early or later or however.
I can bring them up if I remember how we did this. I know.
You
I'm
have
still
to,
seeing everyone on the screen. I don't know if is everybody else seeing that too?
it should be Wendy and myself larger and everybody else across the top, maybe.
No,
Oh,
I'm
you know
seeing.
what? Change it from gallery view.
Okay.
Change it to speaker view, then you'll see.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's better.
I knew
Okay.
it had to be something simple. Okay. Everybody else good?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wendy's gonna get her share.
Mhm. Thought I just had it. Tapped the wrong thing.
And Rita's coming in, so we're good.
So first, I just want to say, Lisa, thank you so much for the invite, and excited to have an opportunity to share what I do. I am, let me see here. Okay, what do you see so far? Anything?
No, because it would show, you have to hover so that you get the green share button at the bottom, remember? I think you had to touch it. There you go. There we go.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, you can see now?
Yeah, we see Mistrust 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, let me see about that swipe thing. Okay, now I see one person up on the screen.
One person?
I do. I see you now
You're
in the
sharing your
lower.
screen. You should see your screen. Does everybody else see Wendy's screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I
Yes.
see your screen.
Yes.
yeah. So
Let
I'm
me
not
see if
sure
I can
what,
take this down.
let's see.
I see Wendy's screen and then all of us across the top.
Right.
Right.
Shucks. Okay, Lisa.
Do you have it
Really?
on speaker view or on
Speaker view.
as opposed to like group view or whatever it's called?
Gallery.
Gallery, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, hello.
Sorry guys, hold on.
No, take a second.
Huh?
Okay,
You
it's
don't see your image at all, Wendy?
I see my image, but it's not allowing me for some reason to swipe like it did before.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. No, no,
okay.
no, no. Okay,
See.
I'll have to do it a different way. Okay, just bear with me. Anyhow, let me go ahead and start. This is gonna be, might be a little janky, but I'll get them up. Let's see here. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, yeah, because when I tap, remember, we went through
When you
this.
tapped it, it would advance, right?
Yeah, it's not,
Not tonight.
I'm not sure why it's not letting me do that.
Hmm.
Anyhow, so I may have to just come out of my
Of each
photos.
one, yeah.
Yes, I'm not, okay. So the first image that I have up, okay, so I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Some days I consider myself textile slash fiber, mixed media as well, but my journey started, as a little girl. I've always loved art and always envisioned myself as an artist, didn't know how to get there. But eventually I figured that out. And so when I first started bringing my work out, I was strictly working with paper. So I was collage, strictly a collage artist. And even as the work evolved over the years and I started working with fabric, I still to this day, in many respects, consider myself collage. I just work with, instead of paper, I'm using fabric. So my approach, my process is pretty much the same as it was when I worked with paper. Different adhesives, and I'm using my sewing machine, adding that in. So this piece here, I brought this, can you see?
Mhm.
Are we okay?
Yes, we see Miss Trust.
Yes, we
Okay.
see it.
So this was one of my early pieces. I also like to couple my work sometimes with, I say technology. The marriage of art and technology is a fascinating, wonderful thing. And so this is a piece that actually started as a marker drawing, just a black and white black marker on a piece of paper. And so I had put it back into the computer. This was early days of playing around with the computer. And I got this image in the background, but the eyes and mouth I've collaged on. So it's
Hmm.
my drawing that's been converted
Wow.
into a digital image. Um, and so I'm showing you this because this plays an important part in what I do. Um, I'm going to keep going through this, but it's not letting me slide through.
Oh.
I
You may have
know.
to close one and open the next or something. I don't know.
And I'm afraid I'm going to lose.
Hmm.
Shucks. If anyone is tech savvy and has any suggestions, shout it out.
Are these in the folder like yesterday, like they were?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
So
I'm trying to
you
think of what's different.
yeah.
Other than, but you connected me yesterday when we went through this.
You mean like, what do you mean connect?
You had me as a host. You put me on as a host before.
Yeah, I did. Oh,
Okay.
no, I mean, no, I have your co-host, so that was what it was. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, I'm trying to come out of this photo, which I can't even come out of the photo.
So maybe stop share and start over. Like, okay, so you stop share. So maybe go back in and want to try it again?
Okay.
Because it was the same folder you had yesterday that
It
seemed to be,
is.
yeah.
Same exact one.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, we'll give it a second.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that up. Let me see. Open it back up. So turkey chili.
Yeah, that sounds good. We got to start trading recipes in addition to sewing tips, I think, or something. Did everybody see the new giveaway we're doing for the school? It's the Bogolan giveaway. Really, really juicy stuff. We have
Yep.
Yes, of course
Yeah.
I did.
2 pieces of fabric. You get a Bogolan slow stitch kit. You get 30 days access to the jacket class and 2 little free projects, the little bonus. And I'm blanking on it. There might be one more thing. But we did so well with the Ankara giveaway. I thought we could do a Bogolan one and get the kids a couple extra bucks. So if you've seen it, hopefully you'll be interested. Tell your friends. If you haven't seen it, hopefully you'll be interested. Tell your friends. Same thing. And that's until November 25th that we can buy tickets, which is what, next week? How is November half over, first of all? I'm still looking for
The
August.
sadder part is that because Thanksgiving is so late, the rest of the year is going to fly by. It is going to
Yeah, it's
be
already flying.
January before you blink your eye.
Yeah, it's messy. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
messy. Okay, there we go. Yay.
All right.
Okay,
Sorry.
so back to Wendy. Go right
Yes, I
ahead.
figured it out. Had to add
Good.
each of those photos in. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm starting off with collage. So this is the same, this is early on when I started showing my work.
Oh, wow.
And I took that image and played with it many times. So this was an example of me extending that into something else. It's the same face from the previous one. I call it different wig. So I've added different hair and
Nice.
it's a different composition.
Wendy's
So,
Bantu knots are legendary. I'm just gonna throw that in there.
so this is some of these have the dates on them, which is awesome to keep me on track. So this was a piece from 2003,
Wow.
and I'm still doing collage, but what I'm adding in here, I'll point out, and I'm pointing this out because I think there's a direct correlation between my early collage and the fabric that I use now. I didn't realize it at first, but when I look back at some of the pieces, I know what I was trying to achieve, and I found that once I got over to the fabric that I work with now. So
Wow.
around the eyes, I wish I could point it out so that you could see it, but in the face area, around the eyes, the eyebrows, the ears, the outline of the ears, the neck piece, all of that is what I was doing, and I called it box art. So this piece I have hand stamped. I'm doing surface design, so I've hand stamped the background, collaged on the eyes that I'm finding from magazines. But these pieces, like in the neck piece and around the face and around the eyes and the ears, those are actually recycled boxes that I was doing. And so I was using a permanent black marker to add design to these box pieces. The funny story is I was working down the basement. There was nothing in the basement at the time. I had set up a table. The idea hit me. I started doing it. My kids thought something was wrong. They kept coming down and said, "Mom, are you okay?" My husband came down because it was, once I started, I couldn't stop. So I was cutting these random pieces like from Ritz crackers and Cheez-Its and cereal boxes, whatever
Wow.
was being used. And
Okay.
then I was using the inside of the box to cut so I couldn't see the colors. And then I would flip it over and just start designing on these pieces.
Wow.
So
Gorgeous.
here's another example, the hands. So all of this where you see the black line work, that's what I've added over top of these recycled box pieces.
Wow.
Here's another one, 2004. And so I'm working with these pieces and kind of assembling them into whatever I'm led to assemble them into.
So Wendy, are you saying that you were actually creating a printed fabric by taking pieces of the printed side of the box?
No, I'm still working with paper at this point.
Okay.
So all of this, like in this piece here, David Dance, the figure with the exception of the head, the figure, the hands, the arms, the body, all of that, I can look at it and tell you that body piece itself is a Coca-Cola box. I can see that.
Wow.
I can see the Cheez-It box in here. I can pretty much
Wow.
tell. So what I'm still doing paper, but for me, the shapes are still a part of what I do in the fabric. And you'll see that in a little bit when we get to the fabric work.
Wow.
But this was my foundation pretty much. This is how I started my journey. Still paper. So the masks have been a part of my journey since college. I know I have an old piece from college that's really like, ugh, it's terrible. And I almost took a picture of it to show, and I was like, nah, leave it alone.
Oh, we'd love to see that.
So I'm still working with paper. So I'm creating these ovals, cutting these ovals out with some little paper cutter, and then gluing down the eyes and the mouth. If you go to my website, what's on there you'll find is that I talk about where I started and why I do what I do. And it really, for me, it started as a kid with the books, the images that I would see, and they were stereotypes. So once I decided, like Little Black Sambo books, I don't know how many of you saw those, but I looked at them and read them. As a kid, I never understood them in terms of how I saw Black people depicted. That was quite confusing to me. And once I got older and understood what it was all about, and began my journey in terms of bringing my work out, um, I decided to take that whole concept and flip it on its head, so to speak. And so the things that were used in those stereotypical kinds of settings with us, our eyes bugged out, our lips, blown up, on and on and on, I decided to take those things, and because that's not what I saw. So I saw the beauty in us, and so that just kind of set the fire, so to speak. And that's really what was the driving force when I started out. And it continues to be. So it's a celebration for me, continues to be a celebration. Now I'm starting to transition because on this particular piece, I am now adding some fabric. So on this, it's a combination of paint, paper, and fabric. And the fabric on this is the outline of the woman's body that you see, the black. That's little pieces of fabric. I have adhered this to a canvas with beeswax. So I'm always pushing and experimenting, but the face of this particular person is actually black fabric. And I have painted on top and collaged the eyes and the mouth, but the mouth is still fabric. So I'm starting to ease some fabric in now.
Wow. Now, Wendy, you said you adhered them with beeswax?
I did.
And
I was trying to
stained?
make up some encaustic. Encaustic is this, it's a method by which you use wax to adhere and you're adding color into it. But I was messing around. I didn't have all that at the moment. I did get some wax, the beeswax. And then I know at one point I was melting crayons down before I actually bought the encaustic paints and all that kind of stuff, colored wax. So yeah. So this is kind of a close-up of a piece. It was like a broadcloth, I would say, that I started painting on. So this is just kind of a up close, one of those kind of reject ones that I still held on to.
Wow.
Here, the hair is the fabric on this one. The rest of it, the body is the box art where I'm drawing on top, getting that design because I knew in my mind what I wanted to show, but I couldn't find it. When I would go to the art supply store, I couldn't find the papers the way I envisioned it in my mind. So I was spending a lot of time doing surface design, meaning I was painting on top of papers and whatever it was that I was using at the time, trying to create these patterns that I could see in my mind. But the fabric was still eased in here. Now, here I'm transitioning. And so what I've done is to take a piece in the center where you see this 3 women represented there, my mask figures, which I continue to do. I have taken a photo, printed that to what is that? I think it was a piece of fabric. I printed it to fabric with my printer. And then I used that and started to build around it just with the strips that you see. So that's kind of a mixed media. And I went back in and did a lot of needlework in the background of the behind the figures. So this was early. This is still paper. I'm printing now my mask faces to canvas sheets and using that. So this is paper, some paint with the writing, and then the body of this particular one of my Urban Warriors, this was a show from way back, is actually I'm using charcoal stick.
And Wendy, this is roughly like how big, this one? What size? Roughly?
That one is probably about, I want to say maybe 18 by, I don't know what it was, 36, 18, something like that.
Okay.
Still my figures, my mask people. Now, the Urban Warriors were a series. I continue to call them Urban Warriors. The show that I did when I started creating them was really my way of paying tribute to people in the community. I had come in one day and my husband had the TV on and was the news, and they were talking about someone, so-called celebrity. Um, and whatever they were, they felt, the newscaster felt it was newsworthy. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. And I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be news. But it made my mind switch over, and I started thinking about all the people on a daily basis around the state, the city, the country, the globe, who do things for other people on a daily basis and never receive any recognition. And they do it because that's what you do. When I grew up, that's what I saw. I saw women around me doing for others. They cared, and there never was a thought in my mind, a thought given to it. It was almost like a natural reflex. You just do it. And so it was my way of thanking people within the community here who do so many things on a daily basis. So that's how the Urban Warriors started out.
Okay.
So this is, I want to say about 2012, where I'm starting this was my first attempt at a quilt. Aside from the last one where I had the mixed media piece going on with the 3 warrior women in the center. So this one by now, and I've gotten, before that I was creating these things in my mind, but I didn't have the nerve to actually sit down at the machine and try it out. So I just did it in my mind, and I bought a lot of magazines and a lot of fabric, and that was about it. So this took place, I started in the winter, it was like January, pulled out a machine that was sitting in the closet that I hadn't used, a little tiny baby Bernina, little pearl. And I just did the strips and I just went for it. So this one is a crib size. And I did not know how to quilt it per se. So I ended up doing, what do you call it when you just tie it by hand? That's what this one is, with a lovely purple embroidery floss.
Nice.
And the back is orange. Who cares?
I love it.
So 2010, I was blessed to go on an artist exchange to Tanzania, and that really changed everything for me. When I was there for a month. got to travel around and visit with many women, artists there who worked in all kinds of mediums, from sculptors to painters, on and on, weavers, you name it. And so the thing that caught my eye that I saw was a mixing of fabrics that really just kind of blew my mind. Like I would see, I would see particularly with women, and it just changed something inside of me. And it changed a lot. It was more than that. So that was very pivotal for me.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So here is this is a piece that I did of my great grandmother, and this is still mixed media, but the fabric is there. I keep her in my studio or close by, this piece, and oftentimes if I'm doing a show, sometimes she'll come out to the show and I'll have her included in the show.
Okay.
Because she was on my mom's side, my great grandmother was a seamstress. She sewed men's suiting. She did suits for men. And then my grandmother was a seamstress as well. And my mom's sister, one sister was a seamstress. They all. So I saw sewing as a kid coming up. The other thing was that I knew that for my mom, that my great grandmother was a Garveyite. And I always wondered after, this was after she had passed, what it was she thought about, why it was she wanted to return to Africa. And so every time I get a chance to travel to the continent, I always let her know that here we are, we've made it over here. But yeah, there's just a lot of unanswered questions, but I still pay tribute to her.
Wow, beautiful.
So now things have progressed. I'm working on the machine. This one here, I laugh at because this was like one of the first pieces I ever did a show with Dr. Maslumi.
Okay.
And this was the Human Rights exhibition where we all had an assignment to do. We were supposed to choose an article from the declaration and something that spoke to us. I ended up doing this piece on teen tobacco workers, and I was still working in that little tiny Bernina, and I didn't know how to navigate a larger piece on that. So I literally cut it up. I cut it into 3 pieces. So where you see that,
Wow.
yeah, I know. And the stitching on here is terrible. It is so terrible. I was trying to do free motion, I'm just like, okay.
It's
And
working for
so,
me. I don't know.
what'd you say?
It's working for me.
Oh, well, where you see these, you can kind of see the division of it, where you have those lines, even
Beautiful.
though I was trying to indicate something there, like there's a larger section to the left, and then you have another section where the boy is standing. He's actually, I'm depicting him standing up in the rafters of the barn. And then to the right. Well, those pieces, I cut them because I couldn't get it all up under the machine, and I was
Interesting.
struggling. I was in a panic and I didn't know what to do. So
I
that's
love it.
what I did. Anyhow, this was, so my approach though is still collage. I'm still cutting all these shapes out. So I do a lot of applique in my work, a ton of applique. So I'm cutting these pieces out and putting them on top of my, on the top of the quilt actually, and stitching all this stuff down. This is the second time I exhibited with Dr. Maslumi. And this was a tribute to, oh gosh, don't let me go blank on his name. Oh gosh. Oh, blanking out. Anyhow, this was another quilt. So this time, this one is small. This was smaller piece. I never had done anything in black and white. And yeah.
And the bottom is all
So,
applique?
what'd you say?
The bottom was all applique, the horses and all that?
Yes, those are all
Wow.
little, I did all the little figures
Ooh, that's
and
detail. Okay.
cut them out. And yeah, after I
Ooh.
did a lot of research. So what, when I first started exhibiting with that group, that's the part that took me to a different level. And that was requiring me to do a lot of research. And that also had a great impact on how I was creating. So now I'm really digging, trying to get as much information before I'm starting to create.
So Wendy, how did you get involved with Carolyn Mazlumi's group?
Introduction. So here, Miss
Oh,
Betty
okay.
Stull, who has been a mentor to me once I started, she actually welcomed me into a space here in Columbus way back when I was first, scared to put anything out publicly. And so down the road, there was I think it was there was an exhibit in Wilberforce at the African American Museum there, and Dr. Maslumi was going to speak. And Miss Betty was like, "Oh, you need to meet her. I want you to meet her." Da, 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 one of those things, and kind of shoved me in front of her. And I'm just trying to show her pieces in my phone, which was highly unorganized. And that's how I got introduced. And she asked me,
Nice.
could I go larger? And I said, of course, yes. And yes. So that's how
Nice.
it started.
I like it.
So 2017, this was from a show in Oakland. Um, there was a group of us here, just women artists. And we decided that, we enough was enough. We did not want to continue to try to work within the restrictions that we felt were just, unavoidable. And that was working through trying to find spaces to show our work. Um, and on and on and on. A lot of things were going on. So we decided, hey, we're just going to come together and we're just going to come up with a show. We're going to do this. So the one friend who had the gift of gab had talked us up sight unseen to a lady who owned a gallery in Oakland, California. And she agreed. We were planning for a show here later, but this opportunity was going to pop up before that. So I was working with the fabric. I was still creating these masks, figures, and on and on and on. So I did a series of these, but this is actually I mounted onto canvas. But I'm still sewing. At this point, I'm backing the pieces. I'm still cutting all the individual pieces out, but they all are backed by felt, black felt. So I continue to use that black felt process.
Wow.
At this point, the pieces have gotten larger because I've jumped from this, which is in a frame, to the challenge for the exhibit, the original exhibit we were going to do together. And I said that I wanted to go larger. So now instead of just doing the head, so to speak, I'm adding the body to it. And this was probably, I want to say, 40 something by 60, somewhere in there, 60, 70 inches. So they're vertical. These are vertical.
Are you doing any hand-dyed fabric? Some of them look hand-dyed.
I am not.
Okay.
No, that's more work. At this point, I'm buying the fabric. I'm buying it. So yes.
I always loved your hair too, Wendy. Just like I said, the Bantu knots and just the textures is always
Oh,
really,
thank you.
really
And
beautiful.
so these went on after that show. These went on along with a couple other pieces on one of the Tom Joyner cruises.
Oh, wow.
A lady reached out to me from down in New Orleans, and she was coordinating. She had worked with him on several of the cruises, and he had requested artwork from specifically from women, from Black women. So she assembled a handful of us, and these took a trip. I did not take the trip, but the work took the trip.
Nice.
So moving on down, this is a photo of Amina Robinson. So in 2021, another pivotal moment for me in my artistic journey was I was the recipient, 2021 recipient of the Amina Robinson Fellowship. And Amina Robinson, if you don't know of her or her work, I would encourage you to look her up. She passed in 2015. She was a very prolific artist. She worked in a lot of mediums, but she did a lot of work in fabric. And if you ever see her work, it's massive. A lot of it is quite huge. You can find it in museums all around the world, actually. Her work has been shown. And so upon her death, her passing, she had left her entire estate to the Columbus Museum of Art. And she had the stipulation, she had this vision that she wanted her home, including her home, she wanted it to be turned into an artist residence. And so in 2020, it was first kicked off. There was a guy local. So at this point, it has grown. So there are three different lanes to this. And so it has grown to a piece that includes, there's a local part to this, which is for those African American artists living in Franklin County, which is where Columbus is located within Franklin County. The other part of it, the second part of it, is another lane which is open nationally for artists to apply. And so you get the opportunity to come and stay in her home for 3 months and work.
What is her name again?
Amina Robinson.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And then the third tier of it is that was added on. So eventually, over time, and I still say it's brand new. Is now they also offer it for writers. So there have been several writers so far that have come in. So several times during the course of the year, they're rotating out. People are rotating. So you're never in the space with anyone else. You're always there by yourself.
Wow.
And you have full reign of the whole house. So at one point, Miss Amina was also the recipient of the MacArthur Award, which is known as the Genius Award. It's like $500,000 that is given to a person. You're nominated for that. So that should give you some idea of the caliber of art that she was doing. If you get a chance to see some of her work with fabric, keep in mind she never used a sewing machine. It was all done by hand. And so she had a love for music. And so in a lot of her work, she would incorporate music boxes. She was just a phenomenal artist who started her journey as a young child, but she was a standout from the very beginning.
Wow.
For the spotlight, we struggle to keep the lights on.
So after my residency, which was in 21, I went on to have a solo. You have options of what you can do. Some people like to speak or do something with the community. Most times they want you to do something where you connect with the community. And I also decided to do a show. So this was kind of a culmination of things that I had a chance to experiment with while I was doing my residency at Miss Amina's house. So this is me. This was an installation, which was really fun. I just enjoyed the fact that I could staple this to the wall. I thought that was big fun.
I bet.
It was.
Wow.
And
Nice.
so none of it was stitched together. I just literally had these pieces. I had started, and this is the shredded fabric, and I still work with this and have turned it into other things. But I took some of the photos for the most part. Like if you let me see here, there's a window towards the left lower bottom left side. I went to a school down the street. So the neighborhood that Miss Amina grew up in is called Shepherd, the Shepherd neighborhood. And there is a school close by, walking distance. And so I went over there one day to work with the kids as part of my community outreach. And that was a photo of a window I took from the school down in the basement. The teacher that I worked with was giving me a tour, and I just took some shots. So there's the fence from the side of her driveway in the upper right, and some other things that I've thrown in there. Brick wall, the brick in the center, that's from her house as well.
And then the blocks are just like random, like you said, graffiti, but they're like, oh, here it is, strips. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like shredded. At first I was keeping all the remnants from the fabric. And at one point while I was in my residency, I was purposely shredding the fabric up.
Nice. Very cool. That would be nice when you have your favorite color and most of your scraps are that one color, and then you just do like a color play. I can see something like that.
Yes, and it's a good way. For me, it's a good way to use up what I call the ugly fabric. I used to really have, when Joanne's was around, that remnant bin would really catch me sometime.
Yep.
And then I would get it home. It's like, what am I doing with this? I would use it with kids. I've worked with kids all these years. I've just stopped working with kids teaching this past May. So I was always looking for things I could take into the classroom for these residencies. And yeah, I'd end up with, drawers of stuff that I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But once it's shredded, it turns into something totally different and quite beautiful. So yeah, I'm using up all of that. So this is still part of the show, one of the pieces from the show. So I'm still quilting this. So these are layers. And so it's probably, when I look at this, it probably has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7, 8 layers on this, counting including the felt that I'm using. So I kind of stack it up a little bit. This is from the same show, Half Revealed. So I like just trying new things. So this is completely quilted. And I'm not sure. I think I saw, there was a presentation I was pulling together one day. And when I put it into the template, it gave me different options of how to show these images. And one of them happened to show one of my mask faces, just the half of it. And it gave me, I was like, oh man, that's a nice idea. I'm gonna have to try that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's how that came about. This is from the same show, and this piece was actually purchased by the Columbus Museum of Art. So I was pretty excited about that.
I bet you were. That's
I
nice.
was. So this one is called Queen Mother. So this was the first time I had actually pieced the body of this together. The face, I have been doing it. So all the pieces in the face and even the hair are all individual pieces that because initially, I don't know if you can tell it or not, I can. So initially, when I start with these type of pieces, I'm always starting with the face. And I had one row for the hair on this. So it was much shorter. But when I laid it out and start looking at it, I had looked at it upside down. And so when I was looking at it, I could tell it needed more volume in the hair. So I had already backed that hair with felt. And I was like, oh, shoot, how am I going to do this? So I had to go back and cut individual pieces, but I backed them with black fabric instead of the felt and added them before I had sewn all this down. added more to it to give it more volume in the hair.
Nice.
Same show, Mrs. Gardner. And this one is, I stretched this one on over canvas and framed it. And this is a close-up. So she's holding dollar store seed packets. This was same year later in May. I have been asked to go back to my alma mater to present this piece. So I was commissioned to do this for Dartmouth College through Black alumni of Dartmouth. And I had not been back to Dartmouth since I graduated. So that was like 50 something, 50 years ago? Yeah, it was a long time. And so for many reasons, my experience as an art student was not a good one for me. And so I really had no, warm, fuzzy feelings about going back. But I was commissioned, and it was interesting because I knew this was like the, what was it, 40th anniversary or something for BATA. I thought they wanted something that was going to be, confetti falling from the ceiling, kind of happy. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so I kept asking. It was just two other people, one my classmate, and then a guy from the class of 60, I want to say 69. And so real nice guy. And she had already told me, she said, he's already looked you up. He knows who you are. He knows about your work. And so we're talking, and I said, can you send me something, send me, some background information so I can get a better feel for what it is, at least what you think you want. And there were no restrictions. They pretty much said, do what you want. But when they sent me the files, they weren't the warm, fuzzy thing I thought they were looking for. So they were really about the protest taking over, the administration building, because this was back in the 70s. And I was like, oh, okay. And the gentleman that I was working with, he was saying, Wendy, he said, I don't know how, I've looked at your story. I've seen your story. I don't know how you can tell that story and not, be in tears or whatever. And he said, but just tell your truth. Just tell your truth is what he said to me. So when I started looking at all of this, I started thinking back to some of the things that happened. So this is called 38 Strong. And so there weren't a lot. I was in the first class of women to actually matriculate in Dartmouth because prior to 72, I came out of high school in 72. So prior to, it was an all male institution. And so it was very interesting, I'll say. I won't linger on that page. It was very interesting. But there were people that definitely let you know that they were not happy you were there, that you were going to their headlines and stuff. They said, oh man, those damn co-eds and on and on and on. It was very interesting.
Wow.
But there were these three classmates. Actually, there were four. One was off campus, so she didn't actually get fully engaged in this. But there was a report, and in the background of this piece, I have replicated that report, the cover of it, because it was typewritten, because we were dealing with typewriters back then. And so it got replicated and passed out on campus. And so these students came together to make this report about institutional racism on campus. It was presented to the college president. And of course, he received it, read it, and said, it's nothing going on. It's nothing happening here. That was the basic response. Yeah, nothing happened. But there were repercussions for the women who signed their name. There were some guys who actually worked with them on the report, but when it came time to sign their names on the report, they backed away. So these three women had their names on the report. And so when I thought about it, I thought about it from a different perspective at this age. And I realized I was like, we were just babies. We were kids. We saw things that we felt were wrong that we wanted to see corrected. And so that was all that was going on, but it was taken in a whole different vein. So I have these three figures. The large figures represent those three women who signed their name on that report. And around them, so it's a total of 38. 38 of us actually graduated in 76. There were more of us in terms of Black women. There were more, but everyone did not stay. And so I have that fringe around them, our little heads. I just put little
Yeah,
froze on everybody.
love it.
And that's what that is.
Beautiful. Mm.
This is another piece from the show as a result of the Amina Fellowship called Sisters.
Mhm.
Another exhibit with Dr. Magazumi down in St. Petersburg, Black Pioneers, which was a wonderful, amazing show. I believe it's still out touring. And so, yeah, this was the piece I did. It was happening. I was finishing up right as I was going into the Amina Robinson Fellowship. I'm like, oh man. So this was my piece. I had been assigned to do something about Madam C.J. Walker. So I decided to, after I read and everything I could and looked at everything, just kind of pull what I thought were some of the highlights. And so I used that circle in terms of the tin that the orange tin that hair grown product was packed in. And so that circle represents that. And then the free motion in the background, for me, represented the hair, the coily, kind of kinky hair being changed with this product that she was used. And it's also about empowerment. And so, yeah, that's what this is. And it was costing 35 cents.
I see that.
So just a few more.
Wow.
This, like I said, I just stopped working with students. I would go into schools and locations and bring what I do with fabric into their classrooms because typically students aren't exposed to that. And I would also show them how I started with collage. So on the left-hand side is a piece that I did actually in the classroom with the students. While they were working on theirs, I worked on this one. And I told them I was going to take it home and try to do something similar in fabric. So to the right is the piece that I ended up starting based upon the piece on the left, the collage on the left. So this kind of shows you how I'm assembling. I'm still approaching it like it's collage. And then this was a quilted piece that I did with the kids, a collaborative. We did a graffiti wall. And so what I started with, I used photographer's backdrop for these two brick walls. And then the kids from all the classes. So this teacher had, oh shoot, it was probably 350, 400 students total. She had 7th and 8th grade students, and the 8th graders were taking the class for high school credit. But every student that came into the classroom was encouraged to make some type of mark on the wall. And so that's how this came about. So this was it after I had finished stitching it. So you can see they've put all kinds of stuff on here.
Wow, nice.
This was more recent, stretched on canvas, close up of one of those pieces. This one I was when I was telling you about Lisa about the crayon batik, that face on this one is the crayon batik.
Wow.
And this was just a piece of black and white pattern fabric, but when I saw the shape of it, it made me think of a mask.
Mm.
This was for Columbus School of Girls. You remember that fabric
Mm.
in the center?
Oh.
Ah. All right, I called Lisa up, like, Lisa, I
Yep.
need you have some red and
I remember that.
orange, because you told me,
Oh,
Wendy,
man.
it's really called cheddar. The color is called cheddar. Go look it up. And I did.
I remember that. Yep.
So this is a
Wow.
recent piece. It's being
Mm.
installed now. They're putting it up in the school behind Plexi. But for this one, I had to stay with my aesthetic. I had to get some fabric in there.
Yeah.
It relate to what I actually do. So this one was I decided to go with silhouettes because I didn't have enough time to try to deal with skin tones and all that with students. And I said, you know what? So I went online to their Instagram page and pulled off images of actual students and created silhouettes.
Nice.
And this one is called We Thrive. So this is a close-up.
Wow.
And then this, bringing it up, this is in a show currently down in Dayton. Forgot to take a good photo before it left. Stretched over the chair in upstairs space. And yeah, I have a second piece to that. This is that shredded fabric again.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Just
Wow.
use it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's it. But at the end, I have these here because I've talked a long time and it's time to wrap it up. And so I was sharing with Lisa, I had gotten my African ancestry. I got my test results back. My husband and I recently went with a group of folks. We went to Tanzania last month. And so the day that we arrived back in Columbus was that morning I received my test results. And so it showed on my mom's side 100% Sierra Leone and the Mende people. So
Mm.
I did a fast Google. I haven't had a chance to really go deep dive yet. But the one thing that I saw that caught my attention was the fact that the Mende women are the only known women on the continent of Africa who wear masks.
Mm.
And it resonated with me because I've had this thing of creating masks for the longest time. And whenever I think I'm going to stop, I can't stop. I just keep creating them. And so I call them collars that I put on my pieces. I thought it was very interesting because that was one of the features when these masks are created. They're more like helmets because they fit over their heads.
Mm. Wow.
These came out
That's
smaller.
interesting. That was always been in your work and you didn't know.
It has. And
Yeah.
so that was my discovery. And that is it.
Okay. Now, Wendy, are you strictly fabric now, or do you still use paper, or how did you
I've
what?
been strictly fabric since 2000 and something, 15, 12,
Wow.
somewhere around there. Yes.
Because I know a lot of artists come from other media, and once they get into fabric, like they never go back. It's just like,
Yeah.
and I
That
find
was,
that over and over again, no matter what they're doing, and it's just like once I hit the fabric,
yes.
So I hear that a lot.
It took away all of the trial and error and hard work of that surface design on paper that I was doing. So yeah.
When you do your shred, the pieces that you showed where you're doing the shredded.
Yes,
Are you sewing that on like free motion on your
I am.
fabric?
Yes.
Okay, so you do
Yep.
you have your pattern, you have your fabric laid out the way you're gonna present it, and then you have your shredded pieces and you freestyle it on.
Yes, I'm using the water soluble. I
Yes.
use yeah. So I've tried it two different ways. I've tried it where I've tried it here. I said let's save some of that material. So what I did with this was put that black behind it and
Yes.
only put the sheet of that water soluble on top. I
Okay.
have other pieces that I've done it top and bottom. So it's the
Right.
shred is sandwiched between it. But in this case, I was like, let me see, can I save some of this?
Yeah, I was just trying to get a little idea. Okay. All right. I have
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Very
Looks
cute.
gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful.
It is.
Oh, thank you.
Mm.
So,
Any other
yep.
questions? You can just unmute.
Thank you, Wendy. I enjoyed all of your work and it's so fascinating and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I
Mhm.
thought I heard a couple of people fall out their seats. So hopefully somebody's still awake.
We're here.
Oh
We're
no,
here.
no, we're here
Oh,
for sure.
definitely here, Gwen. Thank you so much. That was really just a great presentation. I'm still in awe.
And
Your work is fabulous,
Gorgeous.
Wendy.
Yep,
No,
I
thank
told
you.
you.
beautiful.
Yes.
When I
Your work.
see things, I immediately go to how do you do that? And I can't even imagine how you do this. I mean, I know you're telling us, but I get down to like, how do you put this here, this there? How do you keep that all in place, make it all look and come out looking beautiful? I can't even imagine how you do that. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it
It
is.
is. Thank you. In
Yeah.
terms of this piece is still on the screen, I think.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like in the face here, for me, when I'm approaching it, it's really more about the color. The pattern is secondary for me.
Mhm.
So I see the color is dominant in my eyes.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at colors so as I'm piecing that in the face, I usually have a couple of colors, like a color combination. And sometimes it's me looking around at something that's on the shelf, packaging, and looking at those combinations that are used to entice us to buy something.
Mhm.
Right.
What those colors are. And that's like, oh, I like that combo. Or sometimes I'll resort to the color wheel if I'm really stuck. But that's what I see when I'm using these patterns. And that's what I said when I first went to Tanzania. It was that mixing what I saw women putting on the different patterns. I'm like, wow, this is great. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And that is how it has played out in what I do. I don't hesitate. I love the boldness of color. I've always enjoyed colors, but in terms of the patterns, I just it just, like
Mhm.
I said, it's the color for me first. The pattern is secondary. I know it plays a role and they're important and they tell stories and everything, but from my approach, yeah, it's the color I see first.
Color.
Mm.
It's
Your
gorgeous.
work is so powerful, Wendy. It's whatever medium you used, it didn't matter. It still was very stunning and it struck me, the meaning when you discussed the meaning of some of your work. I was just in awe, really,
Yeah.
as
Well,
others have
thank
said.
you. Thank you.
Very
Yep.
powerful.
I'm enjoying the
Lovely.
journey. That's all I can say. I
Mm,
enjoy it. I'm enjoying.
it
Now,
shows.
where's your next trip, Wendy?
Um, Trying to see. I told you my furnace is on the blink, so we're about to
Oh,
shell out
so your next trip is to Home Depot. Okay, maybe
I
next
really
week.
want to look into Sierra Leone.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, I got a whole, I keep a list of where, I just tell my husband, okay, let's try this. He wants to go to Dubai.
Mhm.
I would like to try Morocco, but yeah, who knows? So we try
Wow.
to at least do once a year, just do a
Mm,
major, yeah.
nice.
Dubai is
But
beautiful.
that's what I hear. I wasn't real keen. We've traveled with some friends who host, they do travel, they do, maybe about 6 trips a year to different
Mm,
locations. And we've traveled with them about 3 times. Um, and the trip they had taken most recently was Dubai and Egypt. And when I saw the photos that people posted from Egypt, I was like, wow, I've got to go,
mm,
because
Yes,
there's
Egypt
nothing.
too. I've been to Egypt too.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
mm,
it was the scale of some of those monuments. The scale in books looks one way, but when I saw how small people were standing to some of
Yeah,
next to them,
mm,
I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to see this in person. And I tell
mm,
everyone, it's nothing, as you know, if you travel, there's nothing like seeing it in
yeah,
real time, as opposed
mm.
to someone's filming it in a documentary
yes,
or looking at it in a book. It just can't measure up to the real thing.
yeah.
So
And the
yeah,
hieroglyphics too in Egypt,
I
the
like, oh
hieroglyphics.
my goodness. So that's on
Mm.
my list. That's on my list.
Wow.
So we'll
Nice,
see. But
nice.
Lisa's got this. She's trying to entice me with this Airbnb to
Oh
go back
yeah,
to Ghana. I was like, oh my
Girl.
goodness.
Yes.
yes.
Yep. We can do midnight little strips and little graffitis and all kinds of stuff.
Oh man. Yeah.
Learn, you can teach us a lot.
That would be
I'm
fun.
just like, who, wait, I hardly ever unpack my suitcase.
Good for you. That's living. That is living. You're doing it right.
Oh,
You are
no.
doing it right.
But yes, but thank you all for the opportunity to
Oh,
share this
thank
evening.
Thank
you for
you,
sharing.
Wendy. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
Wendy.
Thank you
our
Thank
so
you
much.
so
spirit
much.
and just
Thank you,
continuing the
thank you.
series. Thank you so much. And
Yeah,
we'll
God
talk
bless you.
soon.
No, thank you.
Mhm. Was there one last question I heard? I thought somebody had a question. Okay. Oh, Jackie's saying good night. Okay,
No,
well,
I'm
thank you
saying,
all
I'm
for joining
clapping.
us. And oh, I thought that's the okay. I thought
No, that
I
was
thought you were
clap.
leaving. I thought you were leaving. Okay. Well, thank you all. We're gonna have a couple other things coming up that I have yet to schedule, but they're coming. And we'll go from there. Like I said, it's like middle of November already, but we'll work it out.
Crazy.
And Wendy, thank you again for your time and
Certainly.
talent. And Wendy's also going to be, well, she's a member now, so we're going to kind of see her in and out, hopefully,
Great,
if
good.
time allows, and posting her, look what I made and things like that. So she'll get into the groove.
I'll
No, she's
post.
gonna
I'm
start
working
posting,
on
look what I made, and none of us are ever gonna post another thing after that.
no, yes you will. Yes you will. I'm working on 3 pieces right now, and I'm trying to finish them up. I have to have them ready by January for a show that's celebrating Miles Davis. So I'm real excited about
Oh,
that.
oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That
Yep,
sounds
yep,
good.
yep. All righty.
All right. Well, thank you all. We're not going to keep you, but we'll see you all soon. And
Thank you.
enjoy the evening. My evening's done, but enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good
You
night,
going to bed.
everyone.
Guys.
Thank
Good night, everybody.
you.
Thank
Night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Bye-bye.
nice weekend.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.